Fraser Island, it's one of those places you have to go, whether it's with the family, fishing with the boys, or locking in the hubs for some awesome four-wheel driving. There's a reason 500,000 people visit this place every year. It's not only fun, it's beautiful. World Heritage listed, the Aboriginal name Kagari means paradise, and paradise it is.
If you're into tough four-wheel driving and epic campsites, then this is the video for you. And I've also got cracking news too. Get 10% off store-wide at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre. That's 10% off winches, spotlights, and heaps more gear. Just keep an eye out for the exclusive discount code in this video. And of course, enjoy the adventure.
Oh gee, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't been to Fraser for years. Well, 18 months anyway. And it is one of my favourite places. I used to work here as a teenager for a little while. I've been coming here ever since and I love it, I really do. Righto, here we go, on to the manta ray. Oh, I can see Costa up there. He owns the manta ray. I think I still owe him a beer from last time actually. Alright, it's almost like coming home again. The manta ray's a pretty flash barge as far as Queensland barges go, and it certainly does the trick getting you across to Hook Point. Couldn't resist. I had to duck up and give Costa a bit of a pizzling over a few things. The guy knows absolutely everything. He's been here 25 years, you know. It's hard to catch him out on anything at all. I like to try though. What are these king tides doing? Where are we going to be when we hit the beach? These are the sort of questions you want to ask the guys on the barge because they know their stuff. So can I have a go at steering?
Yeah.
This one? This is Captain Roothy, and we're about to hit Fraser Island, literally. Put your seatbelts on, everyone.
Oh, time good for you.
Oh, beautiful. The vital bit. Thanks, Costa. I always like to take the manta ray because it's locally owned. If you want any information on the barge, check out www.fraserislandbarge.com.au. Joining me on this trip is Don, an old mate from TJM. He's bringing along a brand spanking new Prado. Also joining us is Troy from Nicky Thompson, who's brought along a JK Jeep. Along with his custom built fishing four-wheel drive is Wazza.
This is my Toyota. It's a fishing vehicle and it's actually set up for two people to go fishing on the beach, and that's what it's mainly for. I've got a TJM bull bar. She's got a custom canopy. Had the canopy on the last truck and I just put it straight on the back of this one. It's set up with the bed and that bit of comfort from home, you know. I've actually got a real bed in there. The canopy has folding up sides so they can actually get and walk around the whole vehicle, get a bit of shade in the middle of the day. I'm looking forward to get up there and have a few beers with the boys and catch a few fish hopefully and keep Nugget under control.
Yes, Nugget, Dave Downey. He's an old mate of mine, and if you're from Queensland, or indeed if you're from Australia, you've probably heard of him. Up here, he's rated as one of the top fishermen in the state. He's won the Fraser Classic more than once. He's a hell of a good guy, and his radio show is one of the most listened to radio shows in Australia. Now we've got our tyres down and we're locked to the hubs. We're into four-wheel drive. The tide's going out at the moment. It's about 3 o'clock this afternoon and we're doing really well. We're going to head straight north, straight around the corner and straight north up 75 Mile Beach. It's a trip I've done lots of times and I can tell you the only time to do it is a few hours either side of high tide, because at high tide it's just a struggle the whole way. Now pretty soon we've met the boys from 4-Wheel Drive Action. They're up here for the Ultimate Prado Test Drive competition, of course, and we're really keen to get a look at the new 200 too. The 200 came in with the TJM guys. This is a bit of a secret thing going on here. They've got one out for test to test some of their gear on it on Fraser Island. We knew they'd be here. We happened to run into them. It's too good. But I tell you what, our competition winners, Phil Walsh and Brent Robbo Roberts, he's from up Bundaberg way. They're just great blokes. Before long, the lot of us are out there mucking around on the beach. Not Wazza though. Wazza and Nugget look like they're about to sneak off for another fish. Yep, they will be any minute. So we said bye for now to the boys and headed north to Orchard Beach, where Wazza and Nugget could finally get their lines wet.
Hey John, guess what this track's called?
Oh, this track here, I don't know, must be named after some illustrious person. Is it the Pope's track or something?
Hey, during the Fraser Island Fishing Expo, they officially opened this as the Dave Downey down ramp. It's the worst down ramp onto the beach on Fraser.
Good on you, mate, you're part of history. It's not a bad ramp though.
Hey, that's the best I've ever seen it.
Normally it's an awful lot worse than that.
Jeez, it's nice to pop out onto this beach. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the magic scenes. You come out of that sand dunes and you're hit with this scene. It's spectacular, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it just never gets any better, does it? It's beautiful.
Let's just open fishing here.
What are we looking for, Nugget?
Yeah, we've had all that white water up to here, but if you have a look, there's the white water's a bit further separated apart, and there's a bit of greeny looking water. I think there's a bit deeper here. I reckon, mate, I reckon we'll pull a dart out of here.
Okay, so we're in the rip, or no, hang on. What do you fishy guys call it? Not a rip.
Well, this is a bit of a gutter, and hopefully there's not too much current in it, and hopefully there's a few fish in it. But yeah, I think surf lifesavers call them rips, don't they? We tend to talk about sweep and gutters, but yeah, looks like fish. Looks very fishy, mate.
So next time they tell me that Nugget's down in the gutter, I'll know what they're on about, mate. I'm sorry, I always got it wrong.
Yeah, rightio. Hey, have a look at those birds out there too. See, that's encouraging.
So Dave, we use a different rig depending on what we're looking for. I just found out, you just told me. This is for dart. Can you explain it?
Yeah, well, dart don't have a very big mouth, so you don't want a real big hook. That's about a number 4. We'll be using worms. You really got to choose the sort of hook for the bait. It's got a bit of a long shank, so you can thread the worm on, thread it up, make it look a bit natural. Don't need a long trace or anything. It's a very, very simple rig. Been used everything from brim to yellow belly in the bush.
Righto.
Just a short trace and a sinker, enough lead to be able to cast with this rod, hold the bottom out there, get your worm out there, waft around a bit, and hopefully the dart see it and pick it up.
So now I go catch fish, maybe.
Maybe.
Good on you, mate, let's go. Oh, is that mine? I take it it's not supposed to go flat out that way.
What's happening here is we've got a bit of sweep. The
Yeah.
lines are washing down like that, so you see me and Wazza, you just slowly walk down with it.
I see, that's what
Because
you're
if you
doing.
stand still, what'll happen is your line will wash around the up the bank. See
Yep.
where yours is now?
Yep,
Right
up the
here.
bank,
So you put it out as far as you can.
and then wander along with it.
Yeah, cast that way a little bit, because you know it's going to wash that way.
Yep,
So cast out and just let it walk with it.
beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Oh, no, a little dart, I think. The problem is there's a bit of swell here and it's surging, and on the backwash we're dropping them, so I've just got to take it a bit easy in the shallows here to try and slide them up the sand. Nothing real big, just a little dart. Here he comes now.
Oh, it's a fish. It's got eyes and a tail and all. I didn't recognise it.
Have a go at the spikes on the top there.
Holy dolly. Are they nasty?
Yeah, they'll rip your hands, but only if you go that way. If you go that way, they don't hurt you.
All right.
So you can pat the thing. Don't go that way.
All right.
No worries.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. All the help in the world and my rod is still slacker than a bureaucrat down at the parts department.
Go on, mate!
Go for it!
What the heck have you caught?
Oh, mate! Come on! What's this?
What have you caught?
I don't know. It's a... What is it? It's a Nissan fish.
Hey, you should have another cast. The rest of the car's probably out there.
You're not wrong. We might be able to get the transfer case out next with a bit of luck. Oh dear. You know what? Another 30 years of practice, I'm going to get the hang of this. Unreal.
Hey Ruthie,
Yeah, mate.
check out these dart I caught.
Ah, that's what they look like. I'm used to seeing them in a bird's eye box, mate. They got tails and eyes and stuff.
Yours are normally covered in batter, aren't they? But have a look at this. This one's got a bite mark in it, see?
Well, so he is.
Something with teeth has grabbed that.
And it's only a little jaw.
Yeah, I reckon probably a tailor. Tailor tend to grab things in the surf like that. I reckon that's probably a month or so old because it's starting to heal.
Okay.
But a tailor's got. But have a look at this one.
He's an unlucky fella, that one, isn't he?
Lucky he's lived until now.
True.
But look at this one. That one's got a much bigger mark in it. Something's grabbed hold of that, but without teeth.
Without teeth.
And I reckon that was probably a jewfish.
What, the jewfish gums its prey to death, does it, or something?
No, they've got sort of crusher plates and they grab things and hold them in their mouth and turn them around in their mouth. They actually scale the fish in their mouth before they swallow it.
Oh, I don't believe it. Forensic fishing with the nugget. There's a new show for you. Pretty soon we're following Dave up north to Nagala Rocks because we're looking for some tailor. But once we get up to the rocks, the tide's in, it's impassable. Nugget and Wazza, well, they just want to bugger off in search of a bit of tailor, and we want to head up the inland track for a bit of fun. This bypass track can be an absolute ripper. I've been bogged here before. It's the back pitch of Nagala, and 50 metres up here, I've been bogged legless in my life. This is one of those weird places where it looks fine, should be dead easy, and it's okay as long as you got momentum. But in my case, I had to stop because someone yelled out, "Stop, there's a car coming." So I stopped, and I stayed there for quite a long time. Can't have a look, see how it is this year. The thing about Nagala is it's normally the other side that's the really tricky bit. So if you're not sure, take a bit of a walk and have a look. It's a bit of a slog up that soft sand track too. Oh, that was great! I'll just bundy over the top, give the other guys a bit of clearance. Oh, wasn't that a bit of fun, eh? That little bit over the back of Nagala Rocks is what separates the real four-wheel drivers from the pretend people in the hire cars. You know why? Because they don't let hire cars come through there. So from here on up, right around to the Cape, that's just for us genuine four-wheel drivers. And you can see why, because it's quite a little bit of fun through there. Our problem here, of course, is that if you come over on the wrong tide, there's nowhere else to go. So you can quite easily get stuck here while your vehicle sank into the sand. That's why they don't let the tour trucks through, and I reckon that just makes it all the more fun for us. Come on, I'm itching to go back. Come on fellas, can we go back through? I'm really looking forward to this. A little bit of steep sand at the back of the gully. Oh, there we go. I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying having a big V8 again. It's been a long time for me. You know, I'd still have a diesel. If I only had one vehicle, I'd have a diesel, but oh, the red is so much fun. The whole trick to Nagala is don't stop. Once you get going, keep going until you get to the end. Don's pretty much got that nailed in the Prado. Troy had no dramas at all in the Jeep. This thing is quite an amazing beast for a nearly standard vehicle. But one of the things that amazed me was that he was using as much fuel as me. Good grief. What do you reckon, Troy? We having fish fingers for dinner or are we going to eat steak?
I like a bit of surf and turf, actually. They better have something.
Surf and turf. Now there's a go. Hello.
Roothy's truck looks like it's got a bit of sand on it. Yeah, I hope they had a good time.
How'd you go, guys? You get us some dinner?
We set ourselves a limit of 12. Waz's just nailed the last one.
You're kidding.
We've got dinner. Have a go at this.
Ah, far out. Far out.
Now-
Look at that.
Your job's to fill it and clean it, mate.
Oh dear, mate, what an awesome job. Look at that, eh? I wish I could say that I caught this, so I will. I caught this. There'd be a big fib though.
The way you fillet these dart, they're fairly thin, so you want to be a little bit careful. You go just behind the side fins, right through to the backbone around the top there. Turn the knife that way and just run it down the side. You can. I always do it this way, but you're not supposed to because you're cutting towards yourself. Old habits. Run it down just on the backbone, and there's the rib cage. You run it between the two. You get a nice skinny, but a nice fillet. Once you've got the fillet off, you can flip it over. We normally skin dart, so you flip the fillet over and run the knife between the flesh and the skin. Now, it looks difficult, but if you've got a nice flat surface like Woz has got on the back of the truck here, it's quite easy. And what you end up with is a fillet and the skin. You used to be able to leave your frames on the beach here, but there's a problem with the dingoes. So these days we take all our frames away with us, so we don't leave any mess on the beach whatsoever. So you're not allowed to feed the dingoes.
Oh guys, dinner, go! That night we met up with our competition winners again, good old Robbo and Phil, and we decided that we'd get it on with this fish and have a bit of a party. I'll tell you what, they're great guys too, they really are. It's good to catch up with the team from Sydney too. Good stuff. Well, you guys go and grab a beer and I'll lob into it. I'll call you back up to taste it when it's ready.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Okay, now this is just dead simple. It sort of relies on one thing, I reckon, and that is really fresh fish. And if the fish have just jumped out of the sea, which they tend to do for nugget, they don't do it for me, then you're really going to be miles ahead. It's going to taste fantastic, but it's just so simple. Get a load of this. It's beer battered fish and chips, by the way. I'll start out with some self-raising flour. If you got plain flour, it doesn't matter, it all works. I usually carry self-raising because I only like to carry one type of flour, and this makes a real good damper. Into the flour, a bit of salt. I've found with salt pots, it really helps if you take the lid off, usually before the cooking segment starts. There we go. That way you can get more salt out of them. Just a little bit of salt. We won't worry about the pepper, that's for the guys later. Another good trick for a beer batter, about half a teaspoon of sugar. Give the dry ingredients a little bit of a stir. Make a well in the middle. Bit of milk. In this case, an egg. Whoa, hey guys, do you like your batter crunchy? I'll better fish out the egg then. There we go. And of course the wonderful ingredient, beer. And we just get that going. Now the whole thing to making a batter is to get it a sort of a reasonable consistency. A couple of big words there, doesn't really mean much. The batter's got to be runny. So in this case, that involves a bit more beer. There we go. Just beat that into some sort of life. While that's happening, I've chopped up some spuds here. The whole trick to frying spuds, I reckon anyway, is not to worry about peeling them or anything else, as long as they're washed, but to cut them fairly slim. Now over here I got some olive oil on the boil. Whoa! Well and truly on the boil. There's all sorts of rumours about cooking chips, you know. You've only got to go down to McDonald's to see how it can be turned into a real process. But I think one of the biggest tricks is to cook them twice, if you can. And the way to do that is to pull them all out and drop them back in again. It's very hard when you're camping to do that sort of stuff, you know. So if you've got yourself something like this with a few holes in it, which is what you need when you're deep frying things, Just give them a little bit of a drain every now and then and drop them back in. Does much the same thing. Righto, there we go. 1 2-ies dry and 2 4X later, and the chips are just about done. In fact, they are done. They look beautiful. I've put a little bit of paper in the bottom here, just to take the excess oil off. And these are unreal. Look at that. Golden brown chips. Real ones. Fantastic. In they go. They are going to be fantastic. They'd better be fantastic anyway. Now, our batter has been sitting for a little while, which is all good, okay? Because with self-raising flour and a bit of beer, it's going to kick off together, be a little bit fluffier. Here we go. The whole trick to this is just to get it coated and get it in the oil. Now, I've had my fire blow out a couple of times tonight because there's a bit of wind around. So make sure you've got the heat up before you do this. There we go. Oh, gee, this Taylor looks pretty good, Dave. Wow, good on you, mate. I don't know how these guys do it, fair income. I've been chucking bits of steel and lead and plastic into the sea for years, and I've never caught anything. We caught a stingray here once. We didn't know what it was. Not much you can do with a stingray though, so back she went. Once you get them in there, you don't really need to do a lot. It is worth giving them just maybe 1 stir, but that's all. And the reason you don't want to do much more than that is because you're going to knock all the batter off. And that's the whole idea, to leave the batter on. Okay, here we go. Righto. And we've had the chips sitting over here. Let's put some of those out. There we go. And a piece of fish. Okay, and there you have it. It's dead simple. Righto, come on Phil, Brent. You guys get to eat first because you're the winners of the competition. And you know what? Have you noticed one thing about this? That the cooking segment with Roothy happened on the last night or the second last night of the trip. There's a reason for that. Just in case you wind up in hospital tomorrow, at least you'll have test driven those Prados. Here we go. There's a couple of forks. You're going to have to try that on camera so you can tell the guys, oh, do you want a bit of salt? There's probably need a bit on a bit of salt.
Yeah.
It's really bad for you. That's why it tastes so good. How's that?
Really good.
Is it? Oh, amazing. Not bad?
Not bad, mate.
I'll tell you what, washed down with some Bundaberg rum would be even better, really, wouldn't it? We won't go there. Good stuff.
Get more for less at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre with incredible deals on Adventure King's camping and outdoor gear. Take your camping experience to the next level with the amazing Grand Tourer Mark III aluminium rooftop tent, the rooftop tent that practically sets itself up. King's portable gazebos are built ultra strong with a tough steel frame, are easy to set up even by yourself and are available in multiple sizes for the campsite or the job site. The incredible new 270-degree freestanding awning can be set up in just 40 seconds and wraps around the side and the back of your car for incredible amounts of shelter. Hit the water on a King's inflatable stand-up paddleboard for an insane amount of fun at the beach, the river or the dam. But warning, it's highly addictive. Plus there's fridges, solar panels and more to make every adventure incredible. At 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre, you get more for less.
We're all heading down the beach towards Eurong because we camped up the north end at Orchard, obviously. Nugget and Wazza are going to go fishing and we're going to head up and have a look at the inland tracks. You need to get your timing right to do this. The tide's in the middle of the day, so we've got to get down to Eurong before it gets up. You know, we're we're at least 3 hours off high tide, but because there's been a few king tides lately, the beach is almost impassable. Another hour, no chance. So we've done quite well. We've come down from the top and we've come down to hook into Eurong and go and check out Central Station and Lake Mackenzie and all the other beaut things to do on Fraser. Fantastic place, it really is. But meanwhile, I wonder what's happening with Nugget and Wazza. I wouldn't mind some more of those, Taylor.
Now, was I know Roothy wants us to get a tailor for him, but this time of year, middle of a very, very hot day, I think our chances are pretty slim.
Yeah, I reckon you're right there, Dave. I'd be more inclined to go up in the corner up here next to these rocks. There might be a whiting or two hiding up in there.
Yeah, you can nearly always get a whiting in the shallows, even in the middle of the day. We've got some nice worms there. Good plan, mate.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Just before I left, I cured Big Red's overheating problem by fitting a great big aluminium radiator. Now, it came with a couple of electric fans, and I'm one of those people who likes to keep things as simple as possible, so I used a flexi fan from a hot rod, so I had a mechanical fan instead of the two electrics. Well, that was all right, except it flexed on the freeway coming up here, knocked all the blades off. So even though I got the big radiator, I've got a heating problem. But you know what? Solution was fairly simple. I was sitting there thinking, how do I get more air under the bonnet? I thought, oh, I know, I'll take the bonnet off. Oh. You know what? It's dropped at 10 degrees, and that's just enough for us to get through the middle here where there's no breeze. Central Station, here we go.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing this, John.
Yeah.
And as I recall, it was a logging station.
Yeah, there was a little town here. They had school and all sorts of things. And all this is regrowth, the whole lot.
I think you'll find that there's a couple of buildings with the history of Fraser on them, which is quite interesting.
It's quite amazing, really, coming to Central Station. Apart from the fact that this was a booming little township back in 1925, the thing that amazes me is that when you look at those photos, it was all clear. And guess what? It's fully grown out now. Mother Nature wins again. So they were still logging here 18 years ago. All that stuff there, that whole lot is under 18 years old, and it's all 50, 60 metres. Insane. Shall we head on down? Now we're going to go down and have a look at the creek. This used to be the water supply for the township. It's still crystal clear. These days they've sort of set it up with some wooden walkers and things to keep people from going down, having a bit of a play in the creek. But that's all right. So many people visit that they have to, really, don't they? The water on Fraser is the purest water in the world. It's all sand filtered.
As I say, it's one of the things that intrigues me, those perched lakes that are well above the water table. If we play our cards right, John, we might get to swim in one today.
We will, mate. Possibly with a cold beer in hand.
Now you're talking.
Right, well, I wonder how Nugget and Was are getting along with the old chuck a worm into the ocean and see if it can swim routine. I'll tell you what, these guys really are quite amazing. They just don't go fishing for fish like normal people. They go, today we're going to catch whiting. Today we're going to catch tailor. Today we're going to go and get that jewfish we didn't get yesterday. And off they go, they rig it accordingly, and that's what they do. This one looks a bit small though, Was. Yeah, I reckon he might be kissed him back in, eh? Hey Don, we got hammered by those march flies back on the coast, didn't we?
Mate, you're wrong, it was. Mate, I saw two of them, the size of small Sikorsky helicopters.
Yeah, I was looking for the remote control, I really was. There were some big fellas there. Tell me you got something that's pretty good for them.
Most people have some sort of a remedy.
They do.
This one has stood by me for about 30 years, so I'd like to make it for you, and let's give it a try.
Let's have a look, come on.
Okay, let me have the alcohol, the methylated spirits.
The methylated spirits.
Yes.
I'm not good with chocolate.
Always one to give us a bit of a thrill, that one. The next one is Dettol or an equivalent. That's 500 mils, so it's 500 mils of each. Dettol's about $10 a bottle. This is about $1.50. So we may have skimped a little bit here. Look at that.
We've got a half and half so far.
Yes, we'll end up with 1,500 mils, and this is citronella oil. Could use baby oil if that's what's handy. 500 mils of that. And this is a shake well before use.
Yep.
And I believe this will do the job.
I'm not going to tell you what it looks like, but I did have a Barocca this morning. Righto. Okay, so we got 1,500 mil there,
Yep.
possibly at a cost of about $3.
If that.
Oh, gee, I tell you what, it's changed colour a bit.
It's
there, Don.
emulsified slightly, John, but
right.
they will go back to their constituent parts left alone
So you need
and
to
not,
keep shaking it.
not shaken before use. And that'll probably do that, mate. When you get this on your body, your skin, even if it doesn't chase away the insects, it'll be silky smooth.
Oh dear. Righto, come on, I got a foot here. Holy dooly, watch out. Hey, that's not a March fly.
Rub it in.
Rub it in?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And I'll have a shot on that too. Beautiful.
There you go.
Unreal.
And that's Dr. Don's insect remedy.
Now we can hit the coast and not get carried away by the Sikorskis.
One hopes so.
Now we're off to Lake Mackenzie to have a bit of a dip. Years ago, we used to camp right on the edge of the lake. You can't do that anymore. In fact, these days you can't even camp near the lake. That's probably because the campsite's full of tourists. Look at all those troop carriers. Lake Mackenzie is usually visited by the tourists in the middle of the day. So if you want a really nice time there on your own, come early in the day or come late. But of course we got there right on lunchtime, didn't we? Never mind, backpackers, bikinis, it's all good. Hello, who's this? Oh dear. Now my Irish mate here came over and he said, I'm having trouble with me Jeep. And well, I laughed. I said, yeah, of course you are, it's a Jeep. And I gave him heaps about his Jeep until we got over to his Jeep and found out it was a Toyota. And there it is. Problem, these batteries are old. 9 times out of 10, they're caused by lousy earths. In the back of that Toyota, there should be a can of spray stuff.
Or like WD-40 or something.
Yeah, it's always easy to find what's wrong with these things because in a salt environment it's going to be related to the batteries, the battery terminals or the ends of the leads down at the starter, you know, where the earth strap bolts to the body, the strap between the motor and the chassis. Pull those connections apart, clean them, put them back together and you'll probably have ignition again.
How good's that?
In this case, I didn't have to go much further than the battery. That's good. I didn't want to be rolling around on my back under this truck with all those girls watching, you know. Do I get to hold all the girls? Oh, that'd be wonderful. Look at this distance, see? I did have a shower. Oh. Lake Mackenzie is probably the most picture-perfect place on the entire island. The water here is just absolutely fabulous. I've been coming swimming in this lake for, 30 years I guess now, and it's just a wonderful place, it really is. Funny thing is, once you get into the deeper water, it gets quite cold. Oh, how good is this? You know, it's just fantastic. Hot, sweaty, sandy 1 minute, smashed out in this beautiful water the next. It feels so smooth. This is the purest water in the world. Up, here we go again. Was there a nugget back on the beach?
What do you think you got there, Nugget?
I think it's a dart. I'm fishing for whiting. Light line, a tiny little hook. I think it's only another dart, but it's giving me a bit of curry.
Jeez, mate, the old Wazacam sort of concentrating on the beach a lot here. Can't keep his eyes off the fish, can he? That's how it was.
We might let this one go. We got enough dart.
Yeah, certainly a nice fish, that one.
They just don't get any fishier than these two blokes, do they, really?
Going the wrong way, mate. The water's that way.
But meanwhile, we're up cruising the tracks, having a lot of fun too. Just keep an eye open for the backpackers and the troopies. When you're driving on Fraser, it's all about sand, obviously. And on the beaches, that means knowledge of the tide is everything. When you're planning your trip, tide should be the first thing that you think of, you know? Not just when can I get holidays, but when can I get holidays where the tide's right out in the middle of the day? That sort of thing, you know? It makes a big difference. And the other thing you need to think about, I guess, is a bit of vehicle preparation. Because all these inland tracks that you'll want to use, that you'll want to go and see, they all tend to indent fairly severely, mostly because of the troop carriers and the buses that get around here. They're all sort of fairly overloaded and fairly narrow tyres, and that means you get a big hump in the middle of the track. Now, best way to beat that is the same way we beat it with every other off-roading we do, which is good tyres and a little bit of extra clearance. And if you've got that sussed out, well, you're going to be in front before it even starts. And as to actually driving on these tracks, taking it easy, number one thing. And number two is when the ruts get really deep, go with them. I'm not one of those people who usually likes to go where everyone else has gone, but when the ruts are really deep, you'll find that the vehicle will self-steer to a degree and it'll take you through the middle, because as soon as you spear off up the side a bit, you're likely to get into all sorts of strife. Be very, very careful when someone's coming the other way, because you'll want to go off to one side, they'll want to go off to the other side, the vehicle's tip, before you know it, you're catching annexes and roof racks and things like that. Personally, there's a really good argument for having every track on this island a two-way track. And even then you'd get congestion. Doesn't stop it from being a wonderful place to visit though. This is magnificent, this place. It really is.
Well, as we suspected, there are a few small whiting in the corner of the beach here. Nothing big, around 25 centimetres, which makes them legal, and probably one of the best eating fish in the ocean. Now, the secret to catching these is a run-in tide, preferably in the last couple of hours of the run-in tide. Some beach worms or pippies, light line, small hook. Middle of the day even, doesn't seem to matter. You can pretty much always get a feed of small whiting in the shallows, provided you've got that combination. Let's go and catch a few more.
Driving up the beach and you see a bit of a washout, the big trick is to veer out towards the water when you get close to it, because it's going to be a lot smoother out there. See that? A whole lot smoother. Another 20 feet up there and you've got a jump of about a foot. That's a bit rough. But be careful if you're doing that. If someone's coming the other way, of course, you should always use your indicators anyway on the beach if someone's coming the other way, just to let them know that you've seen them and that you're going to be on that side. And then they should put their indicators on and let you know that they're going to be on that side. So you pass each other, driver's side, you can have a little wave. It's a whole lot better than running into them anyway, isn't it? How good's this? Here's the Maheno, the biggest landmark on 75 Mile Beach. It blew up in a cyclone in 1935, which isn't a bad thing because the Japs were towing it back to Japan to scrap it. Well, we would have got it back as bombs in 1942, I guess, if it hadn't landed here. Since then, it's been used for just about everything, especially bombing practice. Don't go walking on it now, it's not safe. 10 years ago, you get away with it, not anymore. Magic. This is it. Nice little camping area. I reckon we'll set up here. Start relaxing. Relaxing starts with a B. Doesn't take us too long to set up camp, mostly because all we've got to do is find the fridge and we're off. It's me done. Meanwhile, Troy's trying to figure out how the micro tent goes together. That's the big benefit of a swag. I might be down here in the sand, but I'm down here straight away. Don's keen to show off the rooftop tent. There's a lot of ways to camp on the beach. Rooftop tents are always a real favourite because you get to lose most of the sand on the way up. What a magnificent view, eh? Isn't it? I wonder how Nugget's going with the fish. I can see him up there, look. Yeah. There he is. Anyway, I told them if they don't pull a fish, they're going to be eating battered Mars bars. He just doesn't give up that nugget, does he? He's into it.
Oh dear.
Hey, Nugget, how'd you go?
Oh mate, it's bloody tough out there, let me tell you. The data's still there. Taylor aren't there, I can tell you now.
I'm a bit thirsty. I think Roothy's waiting for us down there, so...
That beer's looking awful good, I can tell you. Let's call it a night, eh?
Righto, mate, sure.
And so they did, and finally we all got back together. I bet you don't know what we had for dinner this night too.
Get more for less at 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre with insane deals on King's DIY storage and 12-volt gear to build your dream 4-wheel drive. Whether it's an inverter you need to run 240-volt gear on the job site or the campsite, a battery box or a 12-volt control box to easily access your power, King's 12-volt DIY gear is what you need to take your 12-volt setup to the next level. Need a battery? King's has you covered with a full range of AGM, slimline and lithium batteries in sizes ranging from 98 amp hour to 200 amp hour. All built with ultra high quality components to go the distance. And of course you just can't beat King's solar panels and blankets to silently charge your batteries anytime the sun's out. At 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre, you get more for less.
Yeah, well, the best way to come to Fraser's with a bunch of mates or something. But it's a long time since we've shown a self-recovery with a winch. So a couple of the boys have asked to see this again. Biggest problem here is going to be getting red bogged, because it's just about unboggable, this truck. I shouldn't say that, should I really? But I got an idea here. So here goes bogging 101, followed by recovery with a bit of luck. Yep, well, that's definitely bogged. Now, the only thing that's important about placing the anchor is that you put it far enough away so you can pull yourself onto some decent stiff sand or something like that. There's not a lot of trickery involved in digging a hole. That's where the truck is, and I don't want the spare wheel like that, and I certainly don't want it like that. It's got to go just a little bit like that. Right, that's deep enough, mostly because we've got water coming up. I'll go and get the other bits. You don't want whatever you're using to pull to be pulling up and out. Instead, it'll just lift the wheel up and out. So we dig a bit of a trough in there, sort of line it up with the winch. If you're stuck in a tricky place, you'd be in the cab trying to do a bit of driving while you're winching, or have, you know, someone else in there. Personally, I think the driver should go there, someone else should go on the control. Or in my case, I like to do both together. But because I'm testing out the 12,000 pounder, it's its first use, I reckon it's just going to reef Big Red out without any dramas. We'll see how we go. Oh, there you go. How easy was that? It was very easy actually. You can get a lot harder than that in a real situation. But you get the idea, okay? If you have any dramas, get the wheel in a bit deeper. And of course, you know, a little bit of traction. If this had been in the real world, I would have cleaned some of the sand out in front of Red too, but I just wanted to make sure it was well and truly stuck. Okay, I'll get that tyre out and we'll be off. The champagne pools are a wonderful natural feature on the East Coast. You access them by about 3,000 stairs down this huge long boardwalk, just over the beach crossing behind Indian Head. You know why they call them the champagne pools? Because when the waves come over, they kick off all these beautiful little bubbles. Meanwhile, the camera team's out there looking for more babes. I mean, beautiful places to film on Fraser Island. That's when they came across these enterprising blokes having their annual holiday up here. They had a power winch, they're doing all sorts of wild things down there at Eli Creek. By the sounds of it, it was all about attracting backpackers.
Go.
Coming to Fraser for 7 years. 7 or 8 years. Annual fishing trip. 10 days fishing trip. Haven't caught a fish yet. Next year. We've got all the outfits, the flotation devices, slippery slides, knee boards, wakeboards. And I think it makes a good trip. It does. It does. And we're here to entertain the crowd as well. We're entertainers. You know. Wow. I think if you're coming here for the first time, you need to have a costume. You need to have a costume, something a little bit out of the ordinary. You need to stand out from the crowd. Yeah, well, a lot of expensive cars go under. People who can't drive on the beach think they buy a 4-wheel drive and think point and shoot. Doesn't work like that. Yeah, $30,000 worth of damage done in about 5 seconds. Last year, a brand new patrol up the road here, rolled in the creek, and obviously all the troopies that roll all the time. So you can get a little bit crazy and loose, but you still got to keep your wits about you.
Is that right? I don't know. Hey, can you see me? Get a load of this. Unbelievable. Coming up the beach, and what have we got here? You're kidding. I've joked about backpackers getting themselves into strife, but holy dooly. We all pitched in here. Even our camera boys helped to get the luggage out. Man, if we don't hurry, we're going to lose this one. Hey, Alan, leave it to us, mate.
We got a full-on recovery on our hands, buddy.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, mate, just grab everything you can, I think. We'll winch it and winch recovery strap, gloves. I've got a hitch here. That thing's got a tow bar. We're in. You'll note that Don's wearing high visibility gear. Now this was his idea and I've seen other people do it before. Personally, I think it's a terrific idea. Anyone involved in a recovery should be doing something like that. What'd you do? You left it there and mate, just caught that big wave? Yeah. You gotta watch that, eh? It's a bugger. I've done it myself. It's not hard to do, especially here. Give me the strap in this end. Can you look after the winch? You got some gloves?
Yep.
Cool. But you really got to think fast in situations like this. You only get one crack at it normally.
Is it taking any water?
It's a bit of a high pressure situation actually. And with the tide coming in so fast, we're getting those big sets that are floating the troopy. There's another worry here. The thing could turn over any minute. There's nothing to tie it to out here either. To my knowledge, this is the first time anyone's ever filmed something like this. And I'm glad we did it in a way because you can see how easy it is to lose a vehicle on Fraser Island. On any beach for that matter, but especially here right up the top of the east coast. This thing's going under as we're watching it and every wave is shifting it around. And we had all sorts of dramas with this. I got that strap wrapped around me, it's not hooked up to the winch, but I had to wrap it around me just to try and hold it somewhere near me. Every time the waves hit, it sucked the strap back all the way around the corner. Bit hard working underwater, mate. Next time, try the car wash like a normal guy. I'm going to take up the tension with the truck. All this because the backpackers decided to do a bit of fishing and they missed the tide. I don't know. Look at that. It's coming in that fast now, it's not funny. We're in real danger here. She's rocking and rolling out there, sticking herself in deeper. Right, Don! I was feeling for Don here, I really was. There's nothing quite like hopping in on a great big wet troopy seat. I've done it myself. It's not a good feeling.
Can you hear me, Don?
Yes, I can, John. Just a sec.
I'm going to start racing. If you can bang it in low range reverse.
Haven't started it yet, Johnny.
I can't see reverse lights on. Maybe it's not working.
We had a bit of confusion
right.
here because Don could hear me, but I couldn't hear him. He didn't have time to muck around there, you know. We just had to sort of rely on the fact that we've got to get that thing out.
How's that, mate?
Righto, reverse lights are on, he's driving. Give it a go, he's done.
Don thought the mic around his neck would somehow relay its sound to me. Well, it didn't, did it? So we were just both
Reversing
stuck
out.
here. I couldn't hear him, he could hear me.
Hey, Don, you listening?
I didn't know what was going on.
Yes,
It was
John.
frustrating, I tell you. It really was.
Keep straight, Don, straight, straight.
Hard to be straight when you're floating, Johnny.
Somewhere down the line, this truck was having
Right.
troubles finding four-wheel drive too. I don't know what it was. Later on I checked the hubs and I think one of them might have been half out. This was getting pretty liquid out here. Don's getting worried, so am I. Oh, I was panicking about now, I can tell you. We've got no front-wheel drive, waves coming in over the roof.
Righto, here he comes.
That's as much excitement as I want in one day, Johnny.
But the old 12-tonner did it in the end. That's an impressive winch, that thing, it really is. But you don't slack off. You've got the truck out, you don't slack off. You get clear of that beach while you've still got a little bit of tide to do it. You can see what happened there. We lost the first strap wrapped around the back of the axle. Well, that was about as close to a cock-up as you get. Tide's coming in. There's only minutes in that one.
That was harder than I imagined and twice as exciting.
I would like to point out to everybody how easy this happens. The way it was told to me, they had at least 20 or 30 metres, no worries at all. But when the tide's coming in and it's in a hurry, one big set of waves and all of a sudden the whole thing's moved in 50 metres. Bingo, troop carriers surfing. No big deal. We're out, we're safe. Oh wow, hey? 30 odd years, nearly 40 years I've been coming to Fraser Island. And you know what? It's just such a great place. I think I'll be coming here for another 40. I hope you get to come here too, and I hope our DVD has helped you. You know, especially those people who haven't been here before. Giving you a bit of an idea of what's around. It's fantastic, isn't it? You know what helped me this time? Nugget and Woz. They gave me a few fishing tips. So that now everyone's gone home, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend a couple of days fishing on the beach here. Good on you guys, I'll see you next time.
Forget building your own set of storage drawers or paying well over $1,000 for a set elsewhere, and get your hands on a set of incredibly tough and unbeatable value for money Titan storage drawers. Our entire range of Titan storage drawers have been built to handle just about anything you can throw at them. All models of Titan double drawers come with an included built-in fridge slide on the left-hand side, saving you up to $200 compared to some other brands that charge extra for a fridge slide. Each drawer top also has these heavy-duty spring-loaded tie-down points to secure your gear on even the most corrugated roads. We've put them through their paces like none other. We've jumped on them, overloaded them with bricks, chucked an engine on the drawers at full extension, absolutely flooded them and used them off-road year after year to prove just how tough they are. The Titan 900 single drawer is perfect for those who have limited space to install a storage drawer. It has internal dimensions of 430mm wide, 790mm long and 190mm deep. The Titan 900 double drawer setup is ideal for smaller wagons like Prados, Pajeros and SUVs, with the internal dimensions identical to the 900 single drawer on each side. The Titan 1300 ute drawers are made specifically for vans and utes. The internal dimensions are 1200mm long, 430mm wide and 150mm high. The 1300mm single drawers are also a cracking addition to the back of vans and utes. The internal dimensions are the same as the double 1300 drawers, but have an extra 40mm of depth, making them 190mm deep. And finally, for the bigger wagons like Land Cruisers and Patrols, the double 1070 storage drawers have internal dimensions of 880mm long, 470mm wide, and 180mm of depth. They come 95% pre-assembled, and all you need to install them is a couple of basic hand tools and a couple of hours on a lazy Sunday arvo. You can also add optional wing kits, both model specific and DIY, so you can finish off the back of your four-wheel drive and have plenty of storage available for your next adventure. Take your setup to the next level with the incredibly tough and unbeatable value for money Titan storage drawers.
If you're after a next level 12-volt upgrade for your vehicle or your next camping trip, then check this out. The Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium battery. This uses high capacity, brand new grade A lithium iron phosphate cells capable of thousands of cycles. It's paired with a high quality BMS able to output up to 160 amps of current. The future of 12-volt setups is here. Lithium batteries are super lightweight and still have heaps of power capacity. In fact, this battery weighs just over 15 kilos. That's about half as much as a similar capacity AGM. But that's not all. Lithium batteries have the ability to use their entire capacity from 100 to 0% and still have an incredibly long life. The reason Adventure King's lithium batteries are so good is because they use lithium iron phosphate chemistry. That means if you're using the entire 120 amp hours of capacity in this battery every day, it would still last almost 5.5 years. Some cheap lithium batteries use grade B or even second-hand cells to keep the cost down, but not here. Adventure King's lithium iron phosphate batteries use brand new grade A prismatic cells. When these batteries are assembled, each individual cell is matched with others and then grouped. Then those cells are balanced, which means that these batteries always function at their best and ensure you have full capacity. Another major feature of these Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium batteries is the high quality internal battery management system. This BMS for short takes care of the individual cells. It balances them while you're charging your battery. It prevents overcharge, over-discharge, over-temperature and short circuits. A high quality BMS is so important, and it's also incredibly important to match the BMS to the cells and the use of the battery. A good indicator of a high quality BMS is to look for high current discharge and charge ratings. This battery is capable of charging and discharging constantly at up to 100 amps, and it can do a peak discharge of 160 amps of current. A high discharge current and a high peak discharge current are very important if you want to run things like inverters that need a lot of power when they turn on to fill the capacitors. If you're looking at a battery that has a much lower charge and discharge rate, they could be cost cutting by using a cheaper BMS. Lithium iron phosphate is a safe technology, unlike some other lithium chemistries, and Adventure King's lithium batteries are doubly safe. Not only are they sealed and safe to use in your vehicle, they've also passed a short circuit test, overcharge test, over temperature test, and a vibration test, so they're ready to be put to use. Some lithium batteries are extremely sensitive to hot and cold temperatures, and they can be damaged or destroyed by trying to use them. Adventure King's batteries though can be charged anywhere from 0 to 50 degrees Celsius and used or discharged anywhere from -20 right through to +60 degrees Celsius. They use threaded M8 terminals for high power output and easy connection. Measuring in at 330mm long by 162mm wide and 215mm tall, they fit perfectly in an Adventure King's battery box for a lightweight and powerful portable power station. And with 120 amp hours on tap, you could run a camping fridge for 5 or even 6 days. or you can permanently install them in your vehicle for a next level, super powerful setup that barely weighs anything. And for that reason, they're perfect for your four-wheel drive, motorhome, caravan, or camper trailer, where you need to be concerned about GVM and GCM limits. So if you want a safe, lightweight, super powerful, and super long-lasting lithium battery for your next level setup, you can't beat an Adventure King's 120 amp hour lithium battery.
Introducing the incredible Adventure King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. Your new best mate for delicious barbecue or campfire cooking and warm, cozy fires whether you're at home in your backyard or at your favorite campsite. Let me show you all the things that I absolutely love about it, and I'm sure you're gonna love too. This amazing bit of gear has been designed right here in Australia, and it combines a camping stove and a portable barbecue into one. It can run off multiple fuel sources: wood, heat beads, charcoal, briquettes, and more. When it's time to cook up a feast, you can fit 2 large pots or pans on this huge flat cooktop surface that measures in at 520mm long by 300mm wide. That's enough space to cook up a feast for the entire family. And because it runs on wood or heat beads, you can leave the gas bottle behind, one less thing to pack. And when you want a beautiful roaring campfire, use the included hook tool to simply lift the 2-piece lid off completely and just add in some more firewood. The raised and closed design means you won't risk scorching your grass, your deck, or even your driveway. And you'll be able to use it for a beautiful warm fire at campsites that don't allow open ground fires. Plus, your fire would last longer because you're closer to the heat. Now that's cozy. The enclosed design means it's super efficient, and you can make the most of your fuel by directing the heat exactly where you want it. You can even adjust the temperature of your fire by varying the airflow. With these sliding vents on the side, a 2-piece removable lid on top, and an adjustable flue, you're always in control. Remove the entire lid for an open fire, or just this circular inner piece if you need extra heat for cooking, like searing steaks to finish them off. And this up here, now that is a real game changer. A chimney that extends over 2.4 meters off the ground to direct smoke away from your campsite for smoke-free campfires. You can even position the premium camp oven stove under your awning, your gazebo, or your shed for maximum warmth. And the angular offset chimney piece allows smoke to funnel away rather than getting trapped underneath. There's even a spark arrestor on top for good measure. There are so many more things to absolutely love about the King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. It's been designed to be super sturdy with these 4 large legs that extend the footprint a foot wider in both directions for excellent stability. The legs simply screw into the bottom like this, and you can remove the middle piece for a lower fire. This huge access door swings open with the included hook tool to allow you to easily refill the Premium Camp Oven Stove as required. Inside, you've got this fuel rack that keeps your wood or your charcoal up off the floor, maximising airflow and preventing wasted heat. It's a breeze to transport, set up and pack down too, with no tools required. Each of the 4 2-piece legs simply screw together and the chimney pieces pack into each other, with everything fitting into the main body of the Premium Camp Oven Stove for simple transport. Make sure you don't miss the incredible genuine cooking accessories available too, like a proper wood-fired meat smoker and a clever barbecue hot plate set to really take your camp cooking to the next level. And a stainless steel water boiler too. Whether I'm at home in my backyard or out camping with family, my mates, or even by myself, I absolutely love my Adventure King's Premium Camp Oven Stove. It's a portable fire pit, it's a wood or charcoal barbecue, and it's the centerpiece of every backyard get-together or camping adventure, and I know you're gonna love yours too.
Introducing the insane new Adventure King's 9-inch lethal LED driving lights. These things have an amazing combination of both spot and flood light. They have 21,840 lab-proven effective lumens per pair. That's over 2,000 more than the previous generation. Plus, they have huge light distance performance with 1 lux at over 1.3 kilometers. These are the LED driving lights that other lights wish they were.
You asked and we listened. You said you wanted even more flood of light out of your LED driving lights to light up the sides of the road, the highway and the tracks. We went back to the drawing board to redesign the lethal LED driving lights to produce exactly that. At the same time, we upgraded the lights to the ridiculously tough King's Laser Light die-cast aluminium housings and 3mm folded steel mounts. So not only are these some of the brightest LED driving lights we've ever sold, but they're also the toughest. How bright? Try a lab-proven 21,840 lumens per pair and one lux of 1,342 meters. That's real-world lumens too, not the theoretical lumens that some lights claim they produce. That's thanks to the genuine German-designed Osram LEDs for simply unparalleled light performance. We've also re-engineered the lethal lights with a new 5,185 Kelvin colour temperature. That means they're just a little bit more on the softer, warmer side. Still a clear, crisp white light, but that little bit easier on the eyes when driving long distances. And of course, you get all the features and quality you'd expect from Adventure King's driving lights, like polycarbonate lenses, the same stuff riot shields and fighter jet canopies are made of, and an IP68 water and dustproof rating, meaning these lights are waterproof to a depth of 1 meter for an hour. Plus, for the first time ever, they're rated to IP69K. That means they can withstand high pressure jets of hot water. That tough die-cast alloy housing features passive cooling fins and a waterproof breather for longevity, and they have the ability to run on both 12 and 24 volt, meaning they're suitable for everything from cars and four-wheel drives to trucks and machinery. Including the brackets, they measure 250mm high, 230mm wide, and 115mm deep. They have an attachment system that uses two 8mm bolts on either side to positively lock them in place and prevent them from falling out of alignment. And of course, they use the same plug as all previous Adventure King's lights, which makes them an easy 10-minute upgrade. Just unplug your old lights, bolt the new ones on, plug them in, and you're ready to go. Add in a 2-year warranty and you've got a simply incredible set of lights that leave the competition looking a little underwhelming. The Adventure King's 9-inch lethal LED driving lights are the best value LED driving lights on the market. We've re-engineered them to be incredibly tough and incredibly bright. They'll turn night into day, and they're on sale right now for a price you have to see to believe.
You asked and we've listened. The incredible MT1 Go Anywhere camper trailer has just received an ATM upgrade to 2 tons. All new Adventure King's MT1 camper trailers will now come with the new upgraded 2-ton ATM. But don't worry if you already own an MT1, because a retrofit upgrade kit is available too. The MT1 is already an ultra tough trailer with a one-piece 150 by 50mm chassis that extends right from the drawbar all the way to the back of the trailer. Now it's even tougher with upgraded suspension, bearings, brakes and wheels to bring it up to a 2-ton ATM. The brakes are upgraded from 10-inch to 12-inch electric brakes. The alloy rims are now rated to 2-ton ATM. And an upgraded set of suspension arms also suit the upgraded ATM. And for existing owners, the retrofit upgrade is incredibly easy to do at home yourself. Everything just bolts onto the trailer with no modifications needed. That extra payload capacity means that you've got more ability than ever before to carry the gear that you need and still remain legal. For more information and full detailed specs on the MT1, see the 4-Wheel Drive Supacentre website. Now with a 2-ton ATM upgrade, the Adventure King's MT1 Go Anywhere camper trailer can carry more gear than ever before.